All right, let's dive deep. I mean, really deep, inside your own head, because we are going to tackle one of the biggest mysteries in science. And that mystery is who's really in control of your brain? Now, I know what you're thinking. The answer is obvious, right? It's me. It's you. But what if I told you the truth is way more complicated and honestly, a whole lot more fascinating? Okay, so picture this. Your brain is this staggering piece of machinery. We're talking almost 90 times billion neurons. And yet, all of that incredible complexity manages to produce this really powerful illusion that there's just one single, unified you sitting inside your skull. I mean, we've all been there, right? You tell yourself, okay, just one more episode, and then bam, suddenly it's 2 a.m. That right there, that's a perfect everyday example of your conscious intentions getting completely steamrolled by something else in your head that clearly had other plans. And that's because, here's the reality of it, most of what's happening up there in your brain is completely unconscious. It's this vast hidden world of activity just running in the background 24/7, making decisions and taking actions that you're not even aware of. So how do we get a peek into this hidden world? Well, one of the best ways is by looking at what we could call glitches in the system. Those really strange moments when the conscious you seems to go offline, but the machinery, it just keeps right on running. Okay, take sleepwalking, for example. I mean, think about it. A person can do some incredibly complex things, walking, eating. Some people have even been known to paint masterpieces, all while their conscious identity is totally, completely asleep. So what's going on here? Well, in a sleepwalking brain, the motor cortex, that's the part that controls all your movements, it's wide awake. But the prefrontal cortex, the CEO, the Center for Rational Decision Making, that's totally offline. It's kind of like the driver is fast asleep, but the car is still cruising down the highway. And if you want to go even deeper, think about general anesthesia. The drugs they use there do more than just knock you out. They actually disrupt the brain's central communication hub, a little thing called the thalamus. You can think of it like the brain's main switchboard for all incoming info, and the drugs just pull the plug. But believe it or not, things get even stranger. We're about to get into some truly mind-bending stuff here. Split brain patients. These are people who've actually had the connection between the two halves of their brain surgically severed, which of course raises a wild question. What happens when you have two separate minds living in one brain? So in this classic experiment, researchers flash a single word to the left side of a patient's vision. Now, because of how our brains are wired, that image travels only to the nonverbal right half of the brain. The left half has no idea it's there. So when they ask the patient, Joe, what he saw, his verbal left brain, which remember, saw absolutely nothing, honestly answers, I didn't see the word. And from its perspective, it's telling the complete truth. But then, here comes the incredible part. They ask Joe to draw a symbol of the word with his left hand, which is controlled by that nonverbal right brain. And he draws a perfect cowboy hat. Why? Because the word his right brain saw was Texas. You have two minds in one head working totally independently. It's wild. This whole strange case points to a pretty profound conclusion, and I think neuroscientist Nancy Kanwisher summed it up best when she said, the I is not such a unitary thing in the first place. That feeling you have right now of being a single, unified self, it's a story, a really good one, but it's a story your brain tells itself. Okay, so if you aren't this single, solid thing, then what else is in there influencing your decisions? Well, the answer isn't just inside our skulls. We actually need to look at all these hidden influencers, forces that are shaping you from the outside and maybe even from the distant past. Let's start with maybe the most famous case in all of neuroscience, Phineas Gage. Back in 1848, an iron rod literally blasted through his prefrontal cortex. Now, miraculously, he survived. His memory was fine, he could still walk and talk, but his personality, it was gone. He became profane, totally socially inept, because that injury destroyed the part of his brain that's basically the thermostat for emotions and social behavior. And these influences might go back even further than your own lifetime. Get this, there was this remarkable study where scientists taught parent mice to fear the smell of almonds. And not only did those parents develop more almond smell receptors, but their babies, their offspring, were born with the exact same biological change. They were hardwired to fear a smell they had never ever encountered. It looks like trauma can actually leave a biological echo across generations. So, okay, after hearing all that, you might be thinking, great, so I have no control at all? But what if I told you that sometimes letting go of conscious control is the most powerful thing you can do? And this is where creativity comes into play. Check this out. These are brain scans of a rapper. When he's performing a rap he's memorized, you can see his prefrontal cortex is all lit up. That's the part that self-monitors, that judges. But watch what happens when he starts freestyling. That same area just goes dark. He is literally turning off his inner critic. What this shows us is just incredible. By letting go of that effortful, conscious self-monitoring, the brain unlocks this amazing state of spontaneous creative flow. It turns out, sometimes that you who thinks it's in charge, well, it just gets in the way. So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, it's that your sense of a single, unified self is a brilliant illusion created by your brain. And most of your actions are driven by unconscious processes you don't even know are happening. But, and this is the important part, that unconscious you is still you. Understanding this isn't about losing control, it's actually about gaining a much, much deeper awareness of who you really truly are. Which, of course, leaves us with one final, pretty profound question to chew on. If that feeling of you is an illusion, constructed by nearly 90 billion neurons all working together, then what does it really mean to be human?